Member for Bass, Ms Finlay.
Here.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Tasmanians know that Tasmanians' investment in hydro was meant to create clean, cheap energy for Tasmanians. But Tasmanians right across the state, whether they be in business or in homes, are struggling under this government's out-of-control power prices. Tasmanian Labor have repeatedly brought to this place a plan to cap power prices, and it's the right thing to do for Tasmanians. Tasmanians that we've had in the chamber today, Tasmanians that we have in our offices every week, Tasmanians that are struggling under the pressure of this government's mismanagement. Not just their mismanagement of energy policy in Tasmania, but this government's mismanagement of everything that is contributing to the rising pressures of cost of living and cost of doing business in Tasmania. Tasmanian Labor have got a plan. Our plan to support our community is around capping power prices and making sure that the benefits that hydro gain through their trading are actually passed on to Tasmanians, because Tasmanians invested in the hydro and expected that with that investment Tasmanians would be looked after in homes, in families, but also in business, so that in Tasmania we could invest, attract and continue to support businesses that are manufacturing and creating jobs for Tasmanians in Tasmania. But what we have right now is a government that, after almost 10 years in this place, 10 years to create this future pathway to a secure energy future, have done little and almost nothing to create what has been obviously needed to this point to support Tasmanians. We have a minister just recently sacked who wasn't able to bring on board any projects to contribute to the false advertising of this government to bring in big companies to say, we've got power, we've got water. False advertising by this government who attempt to attract people to Tasmania and then can't deliver. There is nothing worse than a government that falsely advertises to attract people because it's embarrassing and damages the brand and the great reputation of Tasmania, but then it's embarrassing that when they get here, they then can't manage the negotiations to ensure that they can stay here. So we have people come down and look to invest first, fast in Australia because it's promised that they could do that here in Tasmania, and they walk away because they can't get power at any price and they can't get water. And what that means is that Tasmanians are being burdened by the inabilities of this government. Tasmanians are hurting because of the failures of this government. In my portfolio area of primary industries, whether it be the farmers that have had delays in the provision of their irrigation scheme in the Tamar Valley because there's an attempt to provide water to Bell Bay, that has frustrated them and the process has been distracted where they have had delay to access to their water. Whether it be the farmers or the landowners under the North West transmission lines who have been frustrated by the inability of this government to negotiate openly and fairly about how that would be, continued uncertainty because of the changes of this government. This government are blockers. This government are blocking capacity for the future of Tasmania with their actions now, but they're blocking the capacity of Tasmania because of their inability, and the questions we ask, whether it is intentional misrepresentation or complete incompetence to, over the 10 years they've been in government, provide for and actually create opportunities here in Tasmania through what they call an energy plan that sees us in an energy-constrained environment right now, defined by the TCCI as an energy crisis, where the prices and the pressures of power bills for Tasmanian families and businesses is causing mass devastation and complete uncertainty to individual household budgets, individuals who are having to make difficult decisions in their daily living and surviving around how they pay their rent, and whether they prioritise medications or groceries, things for their children, or services that they need, whether it be medical or other. The inability and the failure of this government to provide a clear energy plan that ensures that we have a secure energy future is causing hurt to Tasmanians and to Tasmanian businesses. So this government can't continue to stand up and say we have a plan, that we are creating opportunity. We know right now, with the blocking of Robbins Island and with the failure of being able to bring on board at at least 6 wind farm projects that we're aware of, whether that be Robbins Island, whether it be Jim's Plain, whether it be Whaleback Ridge, whether it be Helier, Guildford, St Pat's Plains, plus the HIF e-fuels plant. This government say that this is the place that we should be proud of our renewable efforts, but they have failed to bring on and are blocking the opportunity to bring on renewable energy projects at a time we need it most, not only just across Australia but absolutely in Tasmania. This morning the AEMO Summer Readiness Report released that Australia now faces the highest risk of summer blackouts in a decade and highlights the need for more renewable energy to be brought online. This government have needed to be able to protect Tasmanians from these challenges, have had plenty of time. The former minister's been sacked. The new minister can't get across the folio in time to actually be honest and upfront about the challenges and the decisions that he's making, and Tasmanians are paying the price. Tasmanians are hurting because of this government's inability to attract and be honest about what is possible in Tasmania. When we have international and national companies lining up and there are announcements made as recently as just the last couple of weeks, with example the Sun Cable project, and they announce the opportunities here, but we know can't provide the power to actually make it happen, where we have this incredible locally backed and locally envisioned project with Able Energy, again going to be thwarted by the lack of power available to that project here in our electorate of Bass, but in Tasmania. It is an embarrassment that this government is mishandling this so much that we have proponents investing masses of amounts for future projects that this government know they are misrepresenting and know they cannot deliver on the energy requirements. Tasmanians deserve a government that are upfront and are honest and deliver on their needs. Tasmanian houses and Tasmanian businesses and Tasmanian industry expect and deserve a government that can provide the energy for their future, for Tasmanian jobs, for Tasmanian families and for the Tasmanian future.
Speaker.
Honourable Leader of the Greens.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.